Welcome everyone to another installment of Thrive Thursday. I am here with Lori, and we are chatting about the discovery of the ultimate life hack. If you
The
need nothing
ultimate life
else
hack.
in life, knowing it
Life
through.
hack. I like that. And I think I see it as a life hack because what's funny to me in the example I use in the article is about my husband. And he's getting on my kids to get ready and get out the door. And he's really upset. And he's like riding them, I told you to be ready, and just on and on and on. And he's like up in arms. I can see his blood pressure rising. I can see him fuming. He grabs a pop, gets in the car, opens it, and it just sprays everywhere. And I'm like, I totally expected that. Like, I wouldn't expect anything else to happen but that. And he was perplexed by it. Like, how did this happen? And I'm like, that's exactly your pop, demonstrated exactly what's going on in you. You were just releasing it through your pop. And so it's
So
fun.
be careful when you're frazzled and you start opening carbonated beverages. That's
Right.
first and foremost.
Right. Tip number one, calm yourself down. And so I started processing that and I started thinking, I see this all the time. I see it happening to people all the time. You're in airplanes and you're watching someone, get upset with their luggage and then it falls out of the compartment above them. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get why nobody else got that. Like, it was perplexing to me, like, duh, what else did you think was going to happen? And so over the years, I've always contemplated that. There's a pattern in all of this, but I never really drew it up or articulated it quite like this before. And one day it just came to me and I was like, oh, that's what it is. And so I started drawing it out, and that's how I came up with this life hack.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, yeah, and it's interesting, reading through it and seeing, how it all comes together. I totally have to acknowledge the fact that when I'm coaching and I am in a irritable mood, or I'm in an irritable mood, I tend to find all the irritability in our gym, in our training gym, and it's just, it's super fascinating. And then when I'm in a different, form of mind or frame of mind or emotion or whatever, I tend to find that more often in our training gym. So yeah, it's cool. So can you take us through one of the cycles or an example maybe of, how this life hack comes into play?
So how I start out, and what I find interesting is you always hear people say, oh, that's how my day is gone, or it's one of those days. And they don't know that they can hack it and stop the day from progressing that way. It's like you have a choice at each one of those moments when those things are happening to change the trajectory. But they don't know enough to do that. They just, it's one of those days, and they continue living out the day that way. And so what I start out with is what I put out. So who I'm being. And I always know that because if I'm being crabby and irritable, sure enough, it shows up for me. And then I'm like, why are these people so crabby? And I'm like, well, because I'm so crabby. And so I have a choice after I'm being a certain way to continue being that way. So this is the first place you can hack it. Okay, I'm in a crabby mood. I can decide not to be anymore, or I can continue. Okay, this crabby person showed up for me, or this person's being mean to me, or whatever else. I can continue that pattern, or I can decide, wow, this mean person showed up in my experience. Does it have something to do with me? And so there's so many opportunities. So when I go from what I put out shows up for me, so I can make a choice between what I put out and what shows up for me to change. Or when similar stuff starts showing up for me, like, I drop something and then a little later I stub my toe on something. I can decide again, okay, this is showing up for me. How do I want to take it back in? Do I want to take it back in like it's one of those days? Or do I want to take it back in like, ooh, this is trying to show me something? And so you can go through your day thinking I'm just having one of those days and that's what it's showing me. Or you can make a different choice at that moment.
Even in you describing the two scenarios right there, or the two directions that you could take that one, stub toe.
Yeah.
Even in the sound of your voice, I hear something completely different.
Yeah.
And it's remarkable that it's remarkable that stuff will perpetuate itself.
Yeah. Well, because I do this with my daughter all the time. She'll be yelling at her sister and she'll be having it out with her sister. And then she'll walk in the kitchen and stub her toe. And I'm like, look at that. I mean, it's so uncanny. It's such a big deal in our house because we know that's how it works, that we laugh now when it happens. It's more comical to us than upsetting.
Yeah.
It's like, well, obviously you're going to stub your toe or, hit your hand or slap in the cat or, whatever it is that's going on. Then you'll just hear us laughing.
Mm-hmm.
It's how ours unfolds now.
Yeah, I think it's in sports, it's the classic coach and team yelling at the referee and then expecting things to go better for them.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious to me. Like, it just if you're putting out that kind of angst and anxiety into this into the environment and expecting anything but angst and anxiety to come back at you, is just remarkable to me. So that's how I have observed it in the sports world. But
yeah. And I love that you bring that into it because that's exactly what's happening. If you're a coach and you're yelling at someone and berating them and that was a horrible play or whatever you're doing, it's like, you really expect them to play better after that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it becomes comical. And so then I go into taking it back in. So when you stub your toe or the pop can explodes on you or the coaches just yelled at you, you have a choice to stop it again. How do I want to take this in? Can I use it to level up? Can I use it for discernment? Like, this isn't for me. That's all about you, coach. You flipping out over there. You've got something going on in you and I don't need to take that in. And so I draw it out this way because there's so many places in this process where you can decide to do it differently.
Yeah, that's cool. You don't have to wait for one of the cycle to come back around. You can stop it at any point in this feedback loop.
Right.
What you called it.
Yeah. And discern how I want to put it back out. So I can be mad at my sister and then be angry towards someone else, or I can be mad at my sister and realize, gee, that's not how I wanted to respond and stop it, so I'm not paying it forward.
Super cool. And certainly, for a family like yours, you've been stopping it more often. You're used to it by now. You've learned to do stuff like that. It's a skill just like anything else. And I think you would echo the same thing. Like, it may not happen great every single time that you try to stop it. It may not even stop it the first couple times around the wheel, right? I mean,
yeah. Sometimes it takes people. There was a woman in our class and she goes, wow, these are all my relationships. She's like, I can totally see my relationship loop in this. And we're like, yeah, it works in every aspect, whether it's relationships, finances, whatever you're dealing with.
Well, thank you very much, Lori, for this ultimate life hack.
Sure.
We, if anybody out there wants to learn more about it, please reach out. We go through, we take a deeper dive into it in some of our classes. And yeah, it's really awesome. And thank you so much for putting it together. We ask that you guys, if you want to continue conversation, please comment below. Would be happy to carry on this conversation a little bit longer in whatever medium that may be. We also want you guys to know about a workshop coming up that deals with HIOS. This will be a portion of that, and it would be the May the 4th of HIOS Be With You. And you can look that up on thrivehdc.com/upcoming. And anything else, Lori? Or?
Yeah.
All right. Beautiful. Well, thank you, everybody. And we will see you next Thursday.
See ya.